What's going on, YouTube and y'all squad? This is your boy Yocrates. This is your review for The Real Housewives of New Jersey. I believe this is season 12. Forget the episode. This is the reunion part 2, but all of that will be in the title of this video. Really quickly, I totally spaced. I forgot that Beverly Hills came on last night because had I remembered that, I would have actually done this review yesterday morning. So I'm doing this now. And once this is over, I'm going to go watch Beverly Hills and then come back to you all with that. So I'll let you know. And let me just let y'all know, May and probably the next couple months are going to be chaotic because I'm pretty much going to be doing reviews, 4 to 5 days out of the week. Help me God. So we pick up where we left off. Joe is backstage. Teresa says, she doesn't put him down. And Andy's like, but you did. And pretty much encourages her to go back there and talk to your brother. Now, a comparison is drawn between, pretty much what the men are doing and what Joe is doing, i.e., Louis, where it's just like, so Joey can defend Teresa and it's not a problem. I defend my wife and I'm a B-boy. It's just like, and even it being said that Louis doesn't get into the girl stuff, lies, because he literally came at Marge, from my recollection, at least twice. Once saying that she doesn't intimidate him on her best day, and then the season finale when she is walking up from a conversation that she had with Teresa, and then he's like, "Thank you, so long," or something along those lines. So yeah, I'm not buying that. And again, I'm not always here with Joe, and y'all can tell Joe was on the sauce, but Joe made a good point. I have to give him that. Louis says to Teresa that Joe is the only one dealing with housewife drama. I just said that. While Teresa's backstage, Jackie takes a moment to say to Jennifer, just like, look, when you're not around Teresa, you are a different person, and we all were trying to be friendly with you. And for future reference, if she asks you to do something for her, just don't do it. Like, make this easy for the rest of us and yourself. Andy goes backstage. Eventually, Melissa follows, but Andy is backstage. Um, Joe brings up that he told Louis when he first met him because he knew about the whole beach thing. He's just like, bruh, if you ain't ashamed of it and if ain't nothing happened, just get in front of it, say what you gotta say, and let that be that. Teresa's like, well, he doesn't have to. True, he doesn't. But so we find out that not only did Marge try to encourage Teresa to tell him to get in front of it, Joe had already told him that. And because they've been on reality television long enough, yeah, it can always come back up once you sit here and you put it out there. But like Marge said, I came on, I spilled my entire guts. And even though Jen did use some of that as daggers back towards her, that was just one person on the show. You don't really have anybody else coming at her like that. So there's that. Um, and then Andy says to Teresa, even if Marge never brought up any of this stuff regarding Louis, I would have at this reunion that we're currently at, I would have said something. And then you have Teresa like, well, Marge is supposed to be my friend. Well, Andy is supposed to be your friend. But again, Teresa's going to make up an excuse to do whatever it is that she has to do because Andy clearly just told you I would have been the one to say it. So now what? Let me see. So Melissa comes back there and she's pretty much just talking directly to Joe, ignoring Teresa, which I appreciated that. I need her to keep the same energy. And she's pretty much just like telling him, like, you don't even got to deal with this. And she says like one or two lines to Teresa, but it's just straight on her husband. Now, what I will say, because I know a lot of people saying, why didn't Melissa get up when her husband got up? Because even though they're both contractually on this show, she is the housewife. So she's sitting on the stage with the other housewives. Now, Andy said to Teresa, you go backstage. Then he went backstage because he heard a commotion. And then eventually Melissa went back there, though I'm pretty sure that's because, hey, let me get some more spotlight on me because I didn't really have a storyline this season. But nevertheless, okay. Joe and Teresa semi makeup, which I don't like these. We just gonna say because nothing is resolved, which means that this is going to play out for season 13. Great. We get on Delolo. She got a man from Ireland. His name is Paulie. So she's happy there. Her mom is doing better. She's, doing her little morning exercises and whatnot, which is good. Like, we want Dolores' mother to, be around more. You know what I'm saying? Like we want if we like if we can help it, we all want someone to do what they can to, make their lives better, to be here, for those that really need them, Frank, we find out, is living with David, and Eddie's just like, so the house that you and Frank built for you and David and Frank are living together. Then Andy goes say, are they in a relationship together? I'm like, Andy, even though it's a joke amongst a lot of reviews, I'm like, Andy, you doing too much. Then even brought his finances in, and they was like, okay, well, he's building a house, to rent out, and I was it a house or an apartment? Well, a building, but it's like that still doesn't answer the question. But look, if he is a Rolling Stone, hey, let the man do what the man do. Okay, all right, praise God. Uh, we find out. Well, we knew this already because this was in the blogs. But David dated one of Louis' exes. Teresa's like, oh well, they only knew each other for like 2 weeks and da da da. I mean, it doesn't negate the facts, but okay, only knew for two. I'm sorry, not 2 weeks, 2 months. But we find out that right when he got with Teresa is when he broke it off with her. So pretty much he ghosted her for Teresa, and Teresa's kind of sitting there with a smile on her face, like, yeah, I'm that girl. Yeah, but who's to say that if he finds somebody else that has more status and stature than you do, because y'all not married yet, that he will drop you like a bad habit? Well, they're currently, well, they ain't, I'm about to say they're currently living together, but they ain't never stopped to do before. But I'm just saying, like, but it's certain stuff like that. Like when you find that out, it should really, like, that should be somewhat of a red flag. Just like, so you ghosted this just to get with me? I'm just saying. But nevertheless, whatever. Uh, Look, we're speeding through this because I mean, it's a lot of stuff that really didn't matter. I'm not going into explicit detail because this reunion has been draining, very draining. So we get the kids package. It's cute. Something came up. Well, the resiliency comment about children came up, and Andy had asked, like I would assume that stirred something in your children slash stepchildren, and she said it did. Obviously, Jen is harping on this, and the reality is, I can't speak for any other reviewer. I did feel away. The whole kids are resilient. Kids shouldn't have to be that resilient because that right there creates scars and pockets, within their psyche, their consciousness, which this then, leads into how they deal with other people and how they cope in life, especially us living in the digital age too. That doesn't help either. Now Marge says, she said that trying to be compassionate. Marge, I'm gonna call BS because we all agree that didn't land. So yeah, let's not do that. We get Jackie's package. We find out Jackie is eating more, which is good, and she is out of the danger zone, and that is great. She's gained weight, and it looks good on her, But one thing with trauma and whatnot, like her experiences being, overweight. Um, I want to say a nice chunk of her life, primarily while she was in school. We know kids can be cruel. That sticks with her, so she doesn't even want to remotely get to a place to where she feels that is where she's at, and she's having to work through that. Again, Jackie was a child, and we saw pictures of her, being overweight as a child. Yeah, but children are resilient. Therapy. All right, Marge, I like you, but I'm just saying. See how we tying this together. We find out that she's tossed away her measuring spoons. She's doing, much better. And yeah, so then the fat shaming thing comes up. So this is Teresa and Marge. And the question was asked to Jackie, seeing as how you've dealt with your weight issues, how do you feel about this? And she was just like, yeah, I didn't like that at all. And because I didn't write it down because hold on. So then we get to the whole what's her name, Teresa thing with Marge, and the leggings, and Teresa thing as well. I wasn't body shaming, and I was just saying like my leggings were designed to do da 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 da. And even though I call bullshit, you also have to be very aware of what it is that you are saying in the moment, and sometimes just owning it. But I think for Teresa, she realized after the fact, like, ooh, this is going to come back to bite me in my fourth point of contact, and I'm going to lose business over this. So this is her trying to sit here and, do damage control. Then you have Jennifer saying, oh, well, Jackie, you've talked about my weight, saying, or it was Marge, one of them saying, "Oh, well, she isn't." No, it was Marge. Marge said she isn't a lightweight, and everybody on stage like that had nothing to do with your weight. It was in reference to you drinking, and you being lightweight means you can't hold your liquor. And then Jackie had said something about getting lipo and being on the table. Well, that could have been towards anybody in general, and from what I understand, all that Jen said she had done to her body was a tummy tuck, or maybe she had lipo. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not going down that road. Whatever. Anyway, Teresa and Marge go back and forth. They eventually calm that down. Then we get the Jen and Marge segment where this is pretty much where everything ends. Jen didn't know anything about the affair that her husband had. I want to know how you didn't know, because it happened at his place of work, which means that when it finally came out, other people knew. So how do you think that nobody knew about it? And let me see. And also, Marge made it clear, it's like, I knew before you came on the show. Like, somebody pretty much said, like, hey, this person's coming on, whoop, wop, whoop, and this is something that happened. And I believe it. Like, like nobody does this to me, which I'm glad about, because I don't really do too much with a lot of this gossip and whatnot. But I do know reviewers where you have people that will come into their emails and whatnot, DMs, and give them information on people on these shows even before the show even comes out. So I believe it. Andy says, if you have something to hide, don't bring it up on reality television. Like, and that's just a general. Like, if you have something to hide and you don't want it out, just don't do it, or don't even put yourself on a public platform. And she says that the kids are okay. It took them a while to process it. They're okay now. The crooked thing comes up in conversation, and Jen is right in terms of the social media war. Melissa started it. And from what Melissa said, it was her watching the reunion, and she had, that post and da 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 da. Now, I'm still going back, figuring things out. I had to stop because, life happens. Relevant in the hospital, that whole nine, Psyche messed up. So I'm still going back to season 10 and 11 and I think even 9 to gather all my info. Nevertheless, with this in particular, I can understand why Melissa did. Like, yeah, you have this person coming to you at the reunion, even though y'all have y'all ish, whatever. Now you take it from being on the show to social media. This is a brand new segment of the war, and the way that she did it out, yeah, Jen is right. After me making a post and then you coming up under my post is when I finally said crooked, and she said family, which I know a lot of people will be like, it should have stayed between you and Melissa. I understand that, but again, coming from somebody that says if we at war ain't nothing off limits, I ain't too mad. But at the same time, you have to be ready for whatever comes from that. When the dust settles, you got to be ready to deal with the aftermath. And then she even, keeps going back to her surgery picture. And Annie's just like, nobody made a comment about your surgery picture. And Melissa did say, in essence, you're using your surgery photo as a deflection and trying to garner sympathy. And it's really not working. You know what I'm saying? But nice try. Jen, we found out that Jen got the mistress fired. And she said, I would do it again. And she even said, it doesn't matter if Bill did it with a man or a woman, I will get that person fired. Point blank in the period. Marge's whole thing is, so you're so mad that you get the other person fired. And Jen doesn't like the fact that she's turned this into a woman thing. Ma'am, you are a woman. Even though you are male identified, you are a woman. And one thing that we say a whole lot is a lot of this is misplaced. Because, like I said, if I'm in a relationship and whatnot, and my girl done cheated or whatever, I'm not finna come at the dude. Now, now if they in the house, in my house, I'm gonna be like, you got but so much time to get the hell up out my house, because I don't know why you here. But I'm going to her because we are in this relationship. He don't owe me nothing unless I know this person. Then that's a whole nother subject. But if I don't know the person, now mind you, I'm not finna physically come at her because that ain't how I'm built. But all of my energy is going to be towards her because we are together. That being said, her energy should have been towards Bill because he's the one that stepped out on your marriage. That woman didn't owe you nothing. And from how it's being said, she didn't even know the girl. But you were willing to sit here and destroy this woman's life because you were mad, but you're still protecting your husband. I understand where Marge is coming from. I can't give Jen that. I really can't. I can understand the frustration. I understand why she did it. I don't agree with it. And then chaos ensues on stage. Andy, I'm not gonna say he yelled, but he, elevated his tone and pretty much told everybody, y'all talking over each other, shut up. I know some people have an issue with that. He didn't yell at them, so I'm gonna let it pass. I mean, there probably was a more productive way for him to, calm them down, but he didn't. But that's it. That's the reunion part two. If I miss anything or something else y'all want to talk about, please put it in the comments. And yeah, I'm about to go see what Beverly Hills is giving. Peace out.